Hi, I'm Brandon Grant, Marketing Director here at QuoteWerks. In this video, we're going to talk about and demonstrate how QuoteWerks Web integrates with Zoho CRM. Before we get started, there's a couple of keynotes and features we want to discuss. First, QuoteWerks Web is an add-on to QuoteWerks Desktop. This means it will use your existing licensing and features you already have, such as real-time, Eagle-Eyes, and Quote Valley. Additionally, it means that you're able to utilize your existing system settings, security rights, templates, and layouts without having to recreate those for web users. QuoteWerks Web is only $10 per user per month. Since it is an add-on, this means you do not have to repurchase a completely new system to take advantage of QuoteWerks Web. No one will be forced into using it, and you can purchase licenses just for the reps that need or want to use it. Another one of the key features of QuoteWerks Web is the utilization of your existing data. This means no complicated importing and exporting and no constant syncing required. QuoteWerks Web will tie in directly to your existing QuoteWerks database and let you not only edit existing documents, but create new ones that are also available immediately in QuoteWerks Desktop. To host your QuoteWerks databases, we are offering a database hosting service, or you can host on your own using a third-party hosting system. And finally, QuoteWerks Web includes the Zoho CRM integration at no additional charge. This means you can take advantage of the existing features such as contact support and deal support, among others. So let's get started. To get started with QuoteWerks Web, open up your web browser and navigate to na.quoteworks.com. This will bring you to the login page for QuoteWerks Web. Enter in your tenant account number, your QuoteWerks username, so this is how you would log into QuoteWerks, and your QuoteWerks password. And then click Login. Once logged in, you'll see two menu options in the middle of your window. You'll have the option to start with a new blank document, or if you have already started working on a document, you can click on the Open window to start with an existing document. For our example, we're just going to start with a new blank document. So we'll click on the New option, and we'll give our document a name. In this example, we'll just call it our Zoho quote, and then click Create. Once the document has been opened, you'll see a new interface for QuoteWerks Web. On the left-hand side, you'll have access to the Documents, Products, Contacts, and Quote Valley Insight as shortcuts. And then you'll have your normal tabs that are available in QuoteWerks Desktop, available also in QuoteWerks Web. There's also some new icons which we'll go through as well. Using QuoteWerks Web is going to be very similar to using QuoteWerks Desktop, so we're going to follow the same workflow. To search for a contact to pull into QuoteWerks Web, simply click on the Sold to, Shipped to tab, or you can click on your contact shortcut. Either one will bring you to the same screen. In this example, we're going to search for an account name, or you could search by contact first name, contact last name. You can see the other options there. And then we'll type in our results. So in this example, we're just going to type in Aspire and then search. And this will display the available contacts. Once you've located your contact, simply highlight them. And down at the bottom, use the Sold to, Shipped to, or Billed to buttons to populate those fields on your Sold to, Shipped to tab. If you want to use the same contact for all three fields, simply click All, and that'll populate that contact in all three fields in QuoteWerks. If you click back to the workbook, and we go to our Sold to, Shipped to tab here, you'll see our contact has been pulled into QuoteWerks. Now that we have our contact in our document, we're ready to start adding items. Click on the Document Items tab, and just like in QuoteWerks Desktop, we can add section headers to better organize our document. So if we right click here, you'll see our edit menu will appear, and we can select Insert Section Header from the available options, and we'll give the section header name. So we're just going to do something generic. We'll say Products and hit OK. And we'll right click again and we'll choose Services, click OK. And then one more time, do one for Optional Items. These are all just examples of how you can use the section headers. You can name them whatever you'd like. We're just going to use some generic terms just for this particular demo. And we're going to go ahead and just remove this extra line here. So now that we have our section headers, we may want to start organizing our document. For example, maybe I want my products to appear first, followed by my services, and then my optional items. You can quickly drag and drop your line items in the document. This will be very useful once we start adding items from our products and services list here in just a moment. So now that we have our section headers, let's go ahead and start adding some items to our document. To add items, you can click on your products icon in your toolbar or the products menu option shortcut on the left-hand side. When you click on that products shortcut or the products icon, it'll bring you to your product database list. This will show you the same product databases that you have set up in QuoteWerks Desktop. You'll also have options to pull items from Utilize if you have the QuoteWerks product content subscription. So we'll go ahead and we'll click on Utilize there, and we're going to start here first. Utilize is where you'll search for items from Tech Data, Ingram Micro, Synec, D&H, and many more IT distributors. You can search for items by manufacturer part number, product description, keyword, vendor part number. However you want to look for your items, you can do so here. So for example, if we type in something kind of like a generic item like trip light switch and then click search, this will return back quite a few results. But luckily with Utilize, we can narrow down our results by using the filtering options down here at the bottom. So you'll see they're broken down into categories, manufacturers, and features and attributes. So for example, if we click on KVM switch boxes, that'll reduce it to 149 results. And then we can further reduce it by clicking on, maybe we'll say product family and net commander, and that'll drop it down to 11 results. And that's a much more manageable list that we can go through. Now, once you've narrowed down your results or you've located the item or items that you'd like to get pricing and availability for, all you need to do is simply click on one of the items, and QuoteWerks will go out to your setup distributors with Utilize and return back your cost for the particular item. And if you hover over the availability, you can even see which vendor has it in stock, how many they have in stock, or if they have it like in this example, vendor direct. So if you wanted to drop ship it, you'll have that option. If you wanted to source this item from, in this example, Tech Data, since they have the best cost with stock, you can simply click on Select Add, and that'll add that item to your document. You'll also see a confirmation message in the bottom right corner as items are added to your quote or proposal document. Additionally, the Utilize integration includes access to the accessories, similar items, and upsell items tabs. So if you wanted to browse or add any items from those tabs, you'll be able to do so just like in QuoteWerks Desktop. The Utilize integration with QuoteWerks Web comes with a couple new features. One is going to be the workspace. When you add an item to the workspace tab, you'll see here at the top, it's added here to your workspace tab. So if I go through and added a couple items to that tab, and then if we click over to that tab, we'll actually see those 3 items that I've added. The workspace tab is a great place to store items temporarily. So if you are looking for a specific item or you've searched for a couple items, maybe you're going to do multiple quotes with these items, instead of having to do a fresh search each time, you can simply add them to the workspace tab and they'll be saved on this tab until you log out of QuoteWerks Web. This makes it really easy to use these items on multiple documents as you're working in QuoteWerks. And when you click on one of the items from here, you'll be able to get your pricing and availability, just like if you had pulled it from the original search. So if we go back to the search tab, you'll see there's also the compare window. So we'll add those same 3 items to the comparison tab, and you'll see they show up in my compare tab here. And when you click on the compare tab, this will give you access to that comparison window that you have access to in QuoteWerks Desktop. This will highlight the product differences between the items, so maybe you're trying to decide which item is best for your customer. And you can even get pricing and availability from this window, so you can see which items have the best cost, which ones have the best cost with stock. All that information is available here. So if we go back to our search, there's one final option, and it's going to be the favorites. The favorites will show you a list of items that you've saved for later. This is a great place to permanently save items so you don't have to do a search for them. Any item in the favorite will be available for any of your users that you've set up, and this is a great place to store items that you quote on a regular basis. The biggest difference between the favorites tab and the workspace is that the favorites is permanent, where the workspace is just temporary while you're in that session of QuoteWerks Web. And then finally, all the way to the right, you'll see you can remove items from this view. So if you see an item that you don't sell or you don't want to show up in your search in this session, you can remove the item from this view and it'll no longer appear. Okay, now that we've added an item from Eatalize, let's go back to our product database options here, and we'll select one of our databases that we have items stored in. And when you click on that database, you'll see some very familiar fields. You can see the description field, so you can search by an item's description, manufacturer part number, keyword, vendor part number. Again, you can search pretty much any way that you want to. Once you've located your item, you can add it to your document by highlighting the item and then choosing Add Select Products to Current Document. If you hold Control on your keyboard, you can add multiple items at once. So if I highlight those 4 items, choose Add Selected Products to Current Document, this will open up the Add Item Assistant. The Add Item Assistant allows you to make changes to this item before you add it to the document. So for example, if I wanted to sell maybe 3 of these, change my price, maybe I just want to sell it for $950, I can do that. You can also check price history from here. So if you've ever sold this particular item to this particular customer, you can actually see what you previously sold it to them for. We can also check price history for this item, and this would be anyone that we sold it to, not just this particular customer. So you can see that information here. And then finally, you have the option of choosing where you want this item to appear. So this is one of my services, so I'll select my services heading and then choose add, and it'll be added to my services, and I'll get my confirmation down at the bottom. For the next item, we'll do the same thing. Just this is a product item, so we'll choose products, click add, and then maybe this item we'll say is an optional item, and so we'll add it under our optional items section. So once you have your items on your document, you can click back to your document by clicking on the workbook shortcut, and this will bring you back to the document items tab. Here you'll see a list of the items that you have on your document. Now we can maneuver items around if we need to. So for example, maybe we want this switch to show up under our products section. We can just drag and drop it there. And this installation charge, this is going to be a service, so we want it under our services section. Now we've got our items set up the way we want it. One of the really cool features about QuoteWerks Web is the ability to edit an item's description by using the item description panel. So if you click on this icon in your grid toolbar when an item is highlighted, you can actually see the entire item's description. So if you wanted to shorten the description, we can do that, and then you can move on to the next item. The really great thing about that feature is that it makes it easy to quickly go through and see any item's description that maybe it's too long, or maybe you want to copy and paste from another location. You can move through those options and make those changes without having to double click or opening up a second window. And then when you're done, you can simply toggle it close to move on to the next step. In addition to the toggle description panel, we also have the toggle item panel. This is a great way to access all the columns that are on your document. These will be displayed in alphabetical order by default, but if you uncheck this option here, they'll actually show up in the same order you have on your document items tab. You can even filter by a specific column. So for example, if you wanted to adjust an item's price, we could type in unit price, see our price here, and if we wanted to change this price, we could do that. And then if you wanted to move to another column, you could do that as well. So maybe you want to adjust the item type or one of the other fields, you could simply type that in, and then when you're done, you simply close out of that column. So if we want to make some changes to this particular document, maybe we want to mark this item as optional, we'll right click on it, choose Edit Line Attributes, set it as optional and is selected, and then click OK. So that item will be optional when we get ready to send this to the customer. QuoteWerks Web also has a really easy way to copy items from other documents. So if we were working in a document here and we wanted to open up another document, we can click on our Documents menu option in the navigation panel, search for a document. So we'll just say we're looking for quotes for our user and do a search here. And we'll just pull in this first document. And when you open that document, you'll see you'll have a list of your open documents down at the bottom. And this makes it really easy to not only copy and paste from one document to another, but you can quickly move between the two documents. So for example, if I wanted to say, oh, you know what, I wanted to quote this item in my other document, I can highlight it, choose copy, switch over to my Zoho quote document, and then I could say, okay, you know, it's another service that we're offering, so we'll right click and we'll do a pen paste, and that'll let me copy and paste that item in, and then we'll say, you know what, this is actually going to be a service item, or a product item rather, so we'll drop it under our products section. So now that we've made all the changes to our document, we're ready to move forward and send this out to the customer. So the first thing we want to do is we want to save our document, so we'll click on Save. And this will open up the Save Quote dialog box where we'll see our document number, the status, and the project number. And then you'll see these Zoho integration options here where we can create that new link document in Zoho and create or attach to a deal in Zoho. So we'll click OK. This will save our document in QuoteWerks Web. And then it'll open up our Create New Zoho Deal window. And then you'll have the option to create a brand new Zoho deal, or if you click on the drop down, you can link to an existing deal. For our example, we're just going to go ahead and create a new one. And then this will be the name, and it's just going to be our quote name, so our quote that we named it, and then the document number. But if you wanted to add on to it or adjust it, you can. You can set the owner, step, stage, maybe we'll say in ours to the value proposition, and we'll say we're the second option right now. And then if you wanted to add anything else or any notes, you can do that, and we'll click OK. And then that'll go ahead and create that deal in Zoho for you. So our deal's been created in Zoho, ready to send the document to the customer. So we'll click on Deliver here, and this will open up our Deliver window where we can select our cover page for our document. We already have one set as our default, so that's good. So we'll go ahead and we'll use that one. Same thing with our layout, but if we wanted to attach an additional option, so we could select our solution summary page, and you'll see it'll show up on the right hand side. And then if you have any like literature documentation such as terms and conditions, warranty information, service contracts, you can include all that. And then when you're ready to send it to the customer, you'll choose Upload to Quote Valet. If you want to preview it before you send it to the customer, you can absolutely do that. Keep in mind, if you don't see it immediately, your browser may be blocking the PDF, so you may just need to make sure that you allow pop-ups from QuoteWerks Web. But we can view our document before we send it out. So we have our cover page information, and then we scroll down and we have all our item information, and then our solution summary information here, and then kind of a breakdown of what the customer is purchasing. So everything looks good, so we're ready to send this to the customer. So let's go ahead and choose Upload to Quote Valet. And we'll choose our Quote Valet template. And then we can preview this before we send it to the customer, make sure everything looks good. So yep, so everything looks good for the customer. And then choose Send Email. This will open up the email window. This will allow you to send the email out to the customer, but if you wanted to include other information, so maybe you want to CC or BCC someone else, or send this to another user, you can do that as well. If you want to use one of your email templates that you've set up, you'll have access to those as well. If you need to drag and drop additional files, you can do that. You'll see the link here for the document that you can send it out, and you simply click Send, and that'll send it out to the customer. Once you've sent it out to the customer, when they're ready to move forward, you simply need to convert the quote to an order. If you're not using Quote Valet, you can do it manually under File, Convert to Order. And when you convert a quote to an order in QuoteWerks, this is how we close the quote. So this is really important, especially when you're integrating with Zoho, because we're actually going to update that deal in Zoho as one. So we'll click OK. That'll convert our quote to an order in QuoteWerks, and then it's going to prompt you to update the Zoho deal as one here. So you can see here it'll set it as closed one. Probability is 100%. It'll set the closing date to the date that you're doing the conversion, and then you can simply click OK, and it'll update that deal as one. So to summarize, QuoteWerks Web includes the Zoho CRM integration. It's only $10 per user per month, and you only need to have as many QuoteWerks Web licenses for your users that you want to actively access it. And finally, QuoteWerks Web uses your existing licensing features in your current subscription. For more information, or if you have any questions, please contact our sales team. Thanks for watching.